American cupcake. American cupcake is having fun. Just watch your cupcake run. Driving coast to coast. He's the man with the most. He's got no time to boast. His truck is Naomi, the big white whale. She's the one rod that will never fail. Across the country they both sail. He's American cupcake. American cupcake. He's having fun. Just watch your cupcake run. He's American cupcake. You know what else makes him great? He's been to all the lower 48 states. He's seen all 5 of the Great Lakes. He leaves all the others in his wake. This man's cupcake, for God's sake. So you know damn sure he's not fake. Because he's American cupcake. American cupcake. He's having fun. Just watch your cupcake run. He's American cupcake.
Yes, super late and super gay. I'm so super late and super gay, I should get a cape. But thank you, Tim422, for joining me here. Yes. Oh my God. So I'm in Miami, and Miami sucks right now, dude. There is so much fucking traffic. And I supposed to go on this morning. Just traffic getting down south to it was just so bad. But I'm here now. I'm here now for my one fan, Tim422. So what is going on, everybody? Oh, I'm in Miami. That kind of help? Oh, it does help a little bit. All right, cool. A little bit. Move it over here. Do a little shimmy shake and a shimmy and a ha-ha. Yeah, I figured this would be probably a horrible time since I think Uncle Rico's on and there's other shows, but I wanted to get this on because I just finished The Running Man. And let me get my notes. My handy dandy other phone. Pull up my notes here. There you go. So I even upload a picture. I did not. Ah. Oh, son of a bitch. Hold on, everybody. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it is cracking? Fuck. Well then, shit. Let's do this. While we're waiting for my other phone to come up, I will upload that. And pop that out there. Hold all tabs. All right, how's that now, Tim? Is that better? Testing, testing. We are testing this for proper modulation. Is that any better, brother? Excellent. So, I just finished The Running Man. Now, we all know The Running Man was a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was definitely, it was one of his movies he did about the time of Total Recall. Is that it? And The Running Man was written by a man by the name of Richard Bachman. That's Richard Bachman right there. Richard Bachman. He mainly wrote like little paperbacks, and this is in the late 70s, early 80s. He wrote the book Rage. He wrote The Long Walk, Road Work, The Running Man, and his final book in 1984 was Thinner. What you say? What are you talking about, Cupcake? The fuck? That's right, not to be confused with The Marathon Man. Ooh, that's a good book too. Man, I'll have to reread that one and maybe do a review on it. But yes, Richard Bachman wrote the book Thinner. And of course, I'm sure the three of you who are joining me here are thinking, Cupcake, are you fucked in the head? Stephen King wrote the book Thinner. I mean, I saw the movie, and look right here, Cupcake. It says right there, Stephen King's Thinner. Look at that. But actually, the book Thinner was written by Richard. Oh, let me get rid of my banner real quick. Was written by Richard Bachman. And I will use my Bane voice. Well, those are the uninitiated, but we are initiated. Get rid of that picture. Richard Bachman actually is Stephen King. Richard Bachman is Stephen King's nom de plume, a pseudonym, a pen name, and he had these books. Stephen King had these books. Rage, Road Work, The Long Walk, Rage, Long Walk, Road Work, Running Man, and Thinner. He had these books written, but he didn't. He actually wanted to use Richard Bachman. He wanted to be Richard Bachman. He wanted to have that be him. He didn't plan on ever getting rid of the pseudonym. But I believe with Thinner, people kind of figured it out that it was Stephen King, and it actually pissed him off. He did not enjoy the fact that people actually figured it out. But yes, Richard Bachman and Stephen King are one and the same. He wanted to use Richard Bachman in perpetuity. He wanted to be Richard Bachman forever. But Richard Bachman and Stephen King, Richard Bachman was actually like the vampire version of Stephen King. And Stephen King said himself that in 1985-86, he put sunlight on Richard Bachman, and that basically killed him. And he went on TV interviews, talked about Richard Bachman and why he, got rid of him. I actually, and of course I didn't upload this picture either, but he had a collection of books called, oh, you know what, let me do that. Son of a bitch. Called the Bachman books. And I got to show it to you. Fuck. Because when I was in high school, I was a huge Stephen King fan. Huge. Still am. I love all Stephen King stuff. So when I saw this book that said Stephen King. Damn it. Anyway. And it said the Bachman books, and it was fucking inch and a half thick. And I really liked the thick book because in high school, my English teacher in junior year would give us extra credit for reading, books. And if they were over a certain number of pages, you got extra credit for every 100 pages. Yeah, so I read it. I read Tommy Knockers. I read The Stand, both versions. I saw the Bachman books, and I was like, oh my God, what is this book about? The Bachman books. Come to find out, it was 4 different books. It was Rage, Road Work, The Running Man, and Rage, Road Work, The Running Man, The Long Walk. And actually, The Long Walk is they're talking about doing a movie. And Rage, probably Stephen King doesn't want to have anybody remember or talk about because it's about a kid who goes into a classroom and he's a school shooter. So, but yeah, that's how I got introduced to Richard Bachman. And I only read it once, so I hadn't read The Running Man in a long time. Now there was a movie that was inspired by the events in The Running Man. It was definitely not based on The Running Man. The only similarity between the movie, aha, dead fool, yes, Moon, laws, yes, Moon spells Richard Bachman. My God, dead fool, did I just fall in love with you more? Laws, yes, dead fool. That's right. Not only is Cupcake entertaining, but you learn shit too. So where was I? I got the similarities between the movie and the book. There aren't really much. There's it's a game show called The Running Man. The main character is Ben Richards. Come on, Ben Richards, come on. And yeah, that's about it. That's gonna be about it. Where it's a game show. Oh, Killian is the no, in the movie, Killian, I believe, was the host of the TV show, and my dumbass forgot to write down the name of the host of the TV show. But that's pretty much where the similarities end. Again, you could definitely say that the movie was inspired by the book, but that's about it. Main character's Ben Richards. It's a dystopian future that takes place. It's a dystopian future that takes place in the far off future, the way ahead future of 2025. That's when this book takes place. The movie, I think, is the way off dystopian future of 2019. But that's about it. In the movie, it takes place on a whole soundstage, like a warehouse. And here we go in the book. The world of the book takes place in the far off future of yes. I haven't read the Hunger Games. It takes place, the movie takes place like on a soundstage, big warehouse, where it's basically Arnold Schwarzenegger has to survive, and he's got to do these boss battles. He's got to do like these boss battles. Remember, there was Electro, the opera singer who shot electricity from his fingers. There was, I think, the one guy that played with him in Conan, and he was LaForge from Mallrats. He was another boss battle guy. There was a hockey player guy. But yeah, it was basically a bunch of boss battles until he got to the final stage, and then you win the game show. In the book, it's much different. So the book starts out, our main character, Ben Richards, I'm Ben Richards, come on. So he's talking to his wife, Stacy, and they have a little girl, Kathy, who's 18 months old, and she has the flu. And it goes on, and you can tell that from the very beginning, obviously it's a dystopian future. They are in the ghetto, the poor side of town. They need money. They don't have money for a doctor for their daughter because she's sick. She's got the flu. You know, what's her temperature? 104. And the book starts out, it doesn't have chapters. This was the one cool thing that I didn't remember when I read it in high school. It doesn't have chapters. It starts off with minus 100 and counting. Those are basically the chapters. And it got kind of annoying But as the book goes on, it's kind of thrilling. It's like, minus 49 and counting, minus 27 and counting, and as you go along. And they needed money. They needed money for their daughter, and they're watching the freebie. And the freebie is kind of like the BBC, where it's basically government-run television, and everybody watches it. Everybody watches these game shows, and that's another difference from the movie. The movie, I guess, only had the Running Man game show. In the book, the Games Federation and the network have a bunch of different game shows. The one game show that they mentioned is Treadmill for Dollars. And Treadmill for Dollars is start walking on a treadmill and they ask you questions. And if you get a question wrong, they up the speed of the treadmill. And in the first, it may have been 99 and counting, but the guy that's on the treadmill has a heart attack. They have to haul him away. So then Ben Richards, come on, he gets the idea that, okay, well, maybe, if we need money, let me go sign up for one of these game shows. So he goes to the Games Federation, fills out an application for a game. And this is where you find out a lot about Ben Richards' character. He's kind of a dick. And speaking of that, I will go into more about Richard Bachman at the end of this, because Stephen King actually had a lot to say in the foreword of this book about Richard Bachman. But yeah, so he goes to, they do a physical, and they kind of narrow down, if you're going to get kicked out or if you're going to advance to the next level of the, of the questioning to be part of a game show. And the first day of testing, Ben Richards, come on, he's kind of a dick, because he's they say a lot about classes in this. So it's really good, actually, about the undertones of that. But he does not like these people that are giving him these tests, and he's kind of a dick about it. So, the first day, it's, we're going to do this, and this is what it means. We're going to give you this test, and this is what it means. We're going to give you a Rorschach test. Just tell me what you see. And and then he's such a smart ass about it, because he's kind of intelligent. He reads books. He's a book reader, because he wishes he had a book as he was waiting in line. And the second day, they know that he's halfway intelligent. So the doctor goes, okay, we're going to do word association. They didn't explain it. They didn't explain what word association was. They didn't, so that was right there. Like, okay, no, this guy's with it. And the word association, the first one is, they say the word doctor, and Ben Richards, come on, his answer is the N-word. And they use the N-word. People are called the N-word a lot. One of the characters' mothers, I'll get to that, it says darky. And, well, here, I'll just say this. I was shocked that they actually had someone do that. Well, this is the narrator, Kevin Kentley. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So he was absolutely had his pass to say, the N-word. And as he advances in the, in the testing stage, excuse me, as he advances in the testing stage, the tests get harder. But when they start off, they're all in like an army barracks where it's just a big room with cots. But as he advances and he's in the building, as they go up the other floors, the sleeping arrangements get a lot nicer. The food gets better. And as he's eating regular, real food, Ben Richards, he thinks back to his wife and child, and, are they eating their protein pills? So his wife, like, he is such on the poor side of town that their main source of food are these protein pills. just enough sustenance. Oh, like the Matrix, where it's it'll give you everything your body needs, but it looks like baby food. They're like RoboCop, where there's. So at the very end of the test, it is Ben Richards, come on, and another guy. I should have written down his name too. And the other guy goes to him and says, "Hey, I think we're going on the Running Man because these tests." And they're like, "Oh gosh, we never, as far as the parlance of the book, we never heard about the Running Man." So Ben Richards goes to this guy's office. It is Killian, and Killian explains to him what the Running Man is. And this is the Running Man in this book. The Running Man is, you are going to be hunted. You are going to be hunted for 30 days. You will have, it's a TV show. So on Tuesday, the day that they did this was Friday. On Tuesday, the show's going to start. We're going to introduce you to the audience. And after you leave the studio, you will have a 12-hour head start. After those 12 hours, our hunters are going to go after you. And so he goes to the studio, they get on the TV, and once he comes out, the host of the TV show, like in the movie, he's a criminal, and they don't really say that, he isn't a criminal, but they totally treat him like one. Like, can you believe this? Look at this guy. This is Ben Richards. And they show, they show a Photoshop version of his picture where it's like, shut the fuck up. And so they show a picture of him and they show a picture of his wife, and they just give a horrible, horrible version. And they're telling them that these people they're bad people. And and I mean, and then the crowd is, shut the fuck up. Can't you see I'm live right now? God damn it. Fuck this bitch back there, man. And the crowd is like booing him. They're oh yeah, you killed her. Ah. And Ben Richards finally, he gets it that these are the middle to upper class people that have, that are in this area of, that are the audience, and how it really goes to show how the middle class and the upper class have such disdain for the lower class. And then as we go further in the book, he does not pull any punches about the lower class. And oh fuck, I forgot to mention another thing. Killian tells Ben Richards, stick with your own kind. Don't, stick with your own kind. They'll be more helpful, because once you start, after that 12 hours head start, the whole country is looking for you. And he's got to last 30 days, and every hour that he's alive, every hour he lasts, he gets $100. If he lasts the 30 days and wins the game, he will win $1 billion with a B. Billion. And then Killian says, nobody's ever won the Running Man. Okay. So that means the cops are after him. The public is after him. Just everybody, if you see him, you can report it. And another caveat is, another thing he's got is he has a little personal camera and a little, he's got little video things that he needs to make 2 10-minute videos a day, and he has to put them in the mail. And because the Games Federation is, they don't really say it out. I don't think they say it implicitly, but the Games Federation is part of the government. And all you have to do is just put these, these little tapes that he makes in the mail, and they'll get to the the Games Federation. And he has to do that. He's got to make 2 of those a day, get them in the mail by midnight. or he forfeits the prize money, although he does not forfeit the killing. So even if he doesn't send in these tapes, even if he's null and void and forfeits the game, they will still follow him for the rest of his life then, instead of the 30 days, until they kill him. Take a swig off a huge pinky. Skull. So he starts off. He leaves the studio. He goes out, and I'm going to do. This is going to be a very brief synopsis of the book because, I mean, I want, if you haven't read it already, I want you guys to read this book. I want you to get the audio version of this book because it is so good. So I'm going to try to do as few spoilers as possible. I may do a video and just post it instead of doing something live. I may just make a video with a synopsis of spoilers and just post it if you want to watch that and then get the spoilers. Uh-oh. And if not, you don't have to watch it if you don't want spoilers, then just read the book. So he goes out, and the first place he goes to is one of the places he's familiar with because Killian said, go, bitch. I swear to fucking God, I'm on live right now. Shut the fuck up. Oh! So he goes to this black market guy who gets you anything you want. Drugs, women, illicit tools, illicit paperworks, fake documents. So he goes to the guy, and the guy's like, hey, oh, shit. Oh, my God. Hold on, guys. This is one thing I don't like about Florida, but Jesus fucking Christ. Maybe I'll post it, too. They have lizards in Florida like squirrels in the Midwest. It's fucking amazing. Anyway. You know what I mean, man? Like, they just won't shut up. I'm trying to do a good show, and this bitch won't shut her fucking trap. So the guy that he is, the black market guy, he's like, hey, listen, I'm not going to help you. Because if you are caught aiding and abetting the running man, then you can yourself get arrested because the running man's supposed to do it all by himself. So that's the game show's fucked, actually. But if you're caught helping the running man, you yourself will be in trouble. They will arrest you, what have you. Because like, yo, I'm not helping you. Fuck out of here. Like, hey, listen. Oh, and they give him an advancement of the $4,800 new dollars. Yeah, it was $4,800. So he's already $4,800 in the hole when he starts, but he has money. So he goes, listen, I'll pay you. I've got this money. And he goes, is it old dollars or new dollars? He got new dollars. It's like, fuck. So he gives him a fake ID, gives him fake papers, gives him a disguise. And for the first day, he's cool. Gets a hotel room. He's getting all through. He makes his videos. And, he sends them off. And he has a thought in his mind that, well, of course they're going to find me because they're going to find the postmark of these videos of where I'm at. So that's what the fuck? Got a ghost in here doing shit. Married, contestant. Okay. Caught up with my notes. Sorry, guys. So he goes off and he goes to sleep, and he regrets going to sleep because he slept for 5 hours of the 12 hours that he could have gone and just had his head start. And right away, they find him. They find the black market guy that helped him, and he gets dispatched. And it's, oh man, I don't want to say this. Okay, so he goes off to another area. He goes off to another area and finds someone who's going to help him. I should have wrote down his name. Stacy's the guy's brother, right? Yeah, Stacy. Shirley was his wife, not Stacy. I was mixed up there. And he's a black guy, and this is where we get the exposition on what is going on in this world. There's pollution, and they pump the pollution into the poor side of town so that it can, basically what it is, the Running Man and all these game shows are to get rid of the poor people. That's the long and short of it. God damn, I need to trim my beard. That's the long and short of it. They're trying to get rid of the poor people. And this, he talks about how the government, there used to be only 22 points of this kind of pollution in the air, but nowadays it's 42. And that's why you see all the rich people with the nose clips and the nose breathers. And obviously this guy knows about the show, and he gives him the idea that, listen, we'll get your car, we'll get you out of here. And then Ben goes, well, what about the tapes? They're going to know where I'm at. He's like, no, they won't. We'll figure this out easy. You send me the tapes here in Boston, and I will send them out from Boston. So they'll always, it'll be like that. So he goes off, and he goes to where this guy tells him to meet. He tells him to meet somebody, and he meets this guy, Edmund. Fuck, I always forget to write down names. And so he goes there, and his mom, he lives with his mom. He's a big fat guy, probably what you would call an incel nowadays, a gamer, sits in his mom's basement, and he communicates. And this is the part where the mom goes, I don't like you hanging out with that darky. I don't like you. He's bad news. Why do you talk to him? He's gonna get you in trouble. So his mom figures out who Ben Richards is. Does this bitch call the cops? He's been going, and this was like a couple weeks. He's I want to say about halfway through. And the strategy's working, where he's sending the tapes to Boston and they're sending him out. That's working. Doesn't this bitch call the cops? You need to stop this. He's poisoned. He's poisoned. And the guy that's helping him he's like, my mom wouldn't do that. My mom wouldn't do that. And then they say, and then take a drink, guys. They start hearing sirens, and they get closer and they get closer. This is where the book gets great. This is where I really don't want to say much more, because this is where the book becomes a thrill a minute. So much happens. So this big fat guy, they get to a roadblock, and the cops start shooting. The fat guy gets all shot up, and Ben Richards, he gets out of the car, and the fat guy goes, listen, you just hide there. I'll lead him off this way. And Ben Richards, I really don't want to say anymore. Well, I guess I can. For sure. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. So, so he goes off, and, he doesn't know whether, what happened to his buddy who was helping him out. He's probably dead now. They probably got him. So he carjacks this car with this woman in it, and she's a middle class, high, upper middle class, and oh my God, it's you. And as they're going through a roadblock, the cops start shooting, and they shoot the windshield, and the woman is so taken, is so brainwashed by the government and the Games Federation that, oh, they missed. They were just trying to shoot they were trying to shoot our tires out, but they missed. And Ben Richards, come on, is like, lady, they were trying to kill us. As they progress on and on, there's TV cameras are there at one spot, and he goes, listen, let me through or I will blow this broad's brains out. And he knew they were going to let her go. They were going to let them go through because the TV cameras were there, and everybody on the freebie was going to be able to see this. And that was the thing. That was his main, after a while, that's his main goal. His main goal, oh, thank you, Tim. His main goal after a while is to expose the Games Federation and the government. So, and then he figures that, yeah, as long as there's TV cameras on me, I can pretty much do whatever I want since I have a hostage with me. So he goes through the roadblock, and he got shot when he was with the fat guy, and it's a small wound in his side, and he gets to an airport. All right, you know what? Real quick, in the comments, 1, if you want me to do spoilers, 2, if you want me to not do spoilers. Here, I'll put up some waiting music while we wait for that answer.
American cupcake. American cupcake. Is having fun, just watch your cupcake run. Driving coast to coast. He's the man with the most. He's got no time to boast. His truck is Naomi, the big white whale. She's the one.
So we got 1 for spoilers. 2 for spoilers.
American cupcake. He's having fun, just watch your cupcake run. He's American cupcake. Do you know what else makes him great? He's been to all the lower 48 states. He's seen all 5 of the Great Lakes. He leaves all the others in his wake. This man's cupcake for
all right, so
you know damn sure he's not fake because he's American cupcake.
2 of my biggest fans. We got Deadpool with the 1. We got Tim with the 1. All right, so they go to an airplane hangar, and he is going to hijack an airplane. He's got this woman as a hostage. I will kill this woman if you don't give me a plane. I need it gassed up. They get him a crew. They get on the plane, and this is where we meet the hunters. Macron. Is that his name? I always forget to write down the names of like side characters because I'm so into the book at this time. I always forget to write down the name of the side characters. But he goes on the plane as well, and he gets on the plane. This is how he gets on the plane. He takes the woman's purse, and he goes. And by this time, she and he have spoken, and she, because she's kind of on his side, but not really because she's still, upper class and he's not. And he says, listen, I got 4 pounds of C4 in my pocket right now. You get me a plane, you get me a crew to fly this plane, or I'm blowing this shit up. And of course, they don't know that he's bluffing. So they get him the plane. They go through, and as they're going through, they start to cock their guns, and he's right by the fueling station, and he goes, "Hey, do you want this whole, city block? Do you want this whole airport, this whole hangar to go up in flames my life is forfeit anyway. Do you think I'd give a single fuck about blowing you guys up?" "Oh no, okay, so we'll get on the plane." So he gets on the plane. He meets the flight crew, the navigator Donahue. I remember that because it's important. Like the other ones aren't important. I don't remember the pilot or the co-pilot's name, or the woman's name by that either. And the pilot tells him, "Listen, buddy, we just fly the plane. We have no grudge against you. We've got nothing against you. We just fly the plane. You tell us where to go, and we'll go there." So they get on the plane. He has a scuffle with the head, the main guy of the hunters, and all the while, Ben Richards, he's injured. He's got this, and they talk about how it's clotting up, but every time he moves, fucking dude, to get rid of the sunlight. Every time he moves, the wound opens up again. So there's a kerfuffle that happens, and I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, it's like T minus, or it's like minus 15 and counting. They tell him to sit down, and each of the seats, and he's in first class in the plane, each of the seats has a little freebie, like planes do now with the little TVs in the front. So Killian comes on the TV. And while Killian cannot see Ben Richards, he can hear him through the intercom of the plane. So they're talking, and he goes, "Hey, Ben, I'm going to be honest with you, buddy. We know that you're bluffing about the C4. Do you realize what kind of plane you're on? These planes are equipped with explosive detectors. So the second you got on this plane, we all looked at these detectors. We all looked at the warning signals. They didn't go off. So we knew the second you got on this plane that you were full of shit. But I have an offer for you. You have gotten further than any other contestant in the Running Man. You have been the best contestant in the Running Man. No, oh my God! Fuck. Hold on, guys. Hello? Yes? All right, that was a Joey C. Telemarketer call. Great. Yeah, so they knew he was bluffing about the C4. But he's going, "Listen, you were the best contestant. Like, I got a deal for you." It's funny you say that. They do mention poker. He talks about five card stud, where you got one whole card and 4 cards up, and you have to bluff it out. He goes, "Listen." So Killian goes, "I've got an offer for you. You're the best contestant. You've gotten further than anybody. We like you. Here's a proposition. When you land, we will take you and we will execute you off screen. Nobody will see it, but we will tell everybody that we have executed you and that you are no longer a menace, that we've taken care of you. But you want to work for us. We will make you the head hunter guy." And when the Macron, when he hears this, he goes, "What?" And the way he said that, Ben Richards knew that Killian was sincere in his offer. And after a while, he's going, "No, no, no. What about my wife and child?" And he goes, listen, Ben, I've got to tell you something. We didn't have anything to do with this, but your wife and daughter are dead. A bunch of thugs went, found your apartment because they were related to. Oh, this is why. This is why he mentions his wife. He's like, yeah, but your hunters, I've got a wife and child. Your hunters normally aren't married and don't have children. For that very reason. Why are you offering me this? And he goes, I hate to be the one to break this to you, but your wife and daughter are dead. Some hunters came and they killed them with blunt, So basically, they killed his daughter and his wife. And he's like, I'm sorry. He goes, the Games Federation had nothing to do with this. Family is off limits with contestants. We had absolutely nothing to do with this. After a while, Ben Richards thinks about it, and he's like, okay, I'll take you up on your offer. And then Macron, the head hunter, he's like, no, you can't do that. So here comes Donahue, the navigator. Donahue, the navigator, was a plant from the Games Federation that drew his gun and told the guy, the headhunter guy, that, hey, go fuck yourself. You need to go back to fucking second class because we don't need you anymore. We're good. And there's a little more of a fight. They get some, I'm of course abridging this here. They get some coffee, and he gets the navigator. He buddies up to the navigator now that he kind of saved his life. Like, oh, can I see those maps? Like, yeah. So and Ben Richards has never, this is the second time he's ever been on a plane. So he gets the maps, and he's looking at where he's going. They're flying over Pittsburgh, then they go over Newark. They go over Pittsburgh. They go over and they go to Newark, and then drink up, guys. They thirsty. Skull. Thank you for the 17 hanging out with me here. And he gets he goes to make some coffee, and the coffee pot he realizes is like Pyrex, where it's unbreakable, because if there's turbulence and the coffee pot falls, you don't want it to break. So he gets the coffee pot. He looks at the map. He's looking down. Before that, I don't think I wrote this down. I should have. Shit. Yeah, well, he asks them, he asks the pilot, what's the lowest we can fly? And he goes, 2,000 feet. All right, do that. So he's looking at the map, and he's looking out to kind of find out, kind of triangulate where he's at with the map, in the land. When they get closer to New York, he gets the pot of coffee, walks up to Donahue, and knocks him in the fucking head. And the navigator is in a separate area from the pilot and the co-pilot. So he beats Donahue with the coffee pot, and you see Donahue's head on the counter. His head's open, he's bleeding, he's dying, and he gets Donahue's gun. He goes into the cockpit, shoots the captain. The co-pilot goes, hey man, don't shoot me. And then he shoots the co-pilot. As he gets out of the cockpit, Macron, that's not his name, but that's what I can remember. He goes, you son of a bitch, I got you now. So they have kind of a shootout, and this is where it becomes Stephen King. Up until this point, this was absolutely a Richard Bachman book. And this is what I meant about getting more into Richard Bachman. Let me pause the review for a second and synopsis. Stephen King said that Richard Bachman was an asshole, and that all of Richard Bachman's books don't have a happy ending. And from what I can remember of Roadwork and Rage, that's very true. Thinner doesn't really have a happy ending. If you've seen the movie, read the book, you know, the guy, he gets all fat, or he gets all thin, and he's about to waste away to nothing. And he goes, listen, I don't want to die like this. He's like, all right, well, you got to get someone to eat this pie. So he gives the magic pie to his daughter so that he can live. None of Richard Bachman's books have a happy ending. So he gets shot in the gut. And again, this is where it becomes a Stephen King book, because the detail that he explains how his intestines are falling out of the gunshot wound. It's, oh my God, it was just, oh, oh, oh. So he kills, you know, he gets a gunfight, kills the head hunter. There's a parachute. He tells the broad, listen, get this parachute on, get the fuck out of here. You help me out. And they're low enough to where it's not pressurized. So they blow out the door and she gets sucked out. He goes back to the cockpit, and this part, oh God, it's even giving me fucking chills even talking about it. He goes to sit down, and his intestines, he talk about the gray balls and tubes that are coming out of his side. His intestines get caught on the fucking armrest, and oh Jesus Christ, it was, like I said, this is where it becomes a Stephen King book. Like, oh my God. And that's kind of why I like Stephen King. It's like, while I get cringy, it's like, you know, I turn into a little girl, but it's just so descriptive and perfect. So, and each one of these, this whole part of the plane part, you know, it's minus 10 seconds, minus 10 and counting, minus 9 and counting, minus 8 and counting, minus 1 and counting. Ben Richards sits in the cockpit. He sees the Games Federation building, flying right for it. Minus 0 and counting. We go to Killian's point of view. Killian can see the plane. Killian can see Ben Richards. You know, he doesn't notice anything. He looks up. There's a plane coming. And the plane is so close, he can see Ben Richards coming at him from the cockpit. And Ben Richards flips him the bird. The plane crashes into the building, into the Games Federation building. Book ends. That's how the book ends. The last part of the book is the plane crashed into the building. Thank you for enjoying Audible. So I'm sitting here driving and I'm listening to this, and I sat there like this for like that's how the book ends? Like, that's it? Like, not even an explanation of if the Games Federation went on, if this. No way. Ben Richards. Dude, seriously, that's how the book ends. Killian sees the plane coming. He sees Ben Richards flip him the bird. The plane crashes into the building. Audible would like to thank you for enjoying this program. The plane crashes into the building. Audible would like to thank you for the. Oh my God! It was such. It was great. I mean, it was so fantastic. It was. Oh, if you get The Running Man, now it's by Stephen King, obviously. So you can get, you know, it's Stephen King now. But yes, get The Running Man. The Running Man is a great book. There is a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I just had it too. I was just saying it. Like class warfare. It goes into that a lot. Oh, dude, 100%. 100%. Now, the narrator. So the book itself, 5 cupcakes, 100%, 5 cupcakes. Great book. The ending is great when they're talking about his injury, and he's his intestines are falling out and he's trying to put it back, but it used to be just a little match, but now it feels like a lighter, now it feels like a blowtorch, but now it's an inferno, and after a while he doesn't give a fuck about his intestines falling out. The narrator, while the narrator does an excellent job in the fuck, why can't I think of this? Well, the exposition, it's he unfortunately, because he's an actor, he's a stage actor, he's been in a couple movies. Actors doing audiobooks often fall into this, especially when they do Stephen King books. Actors, when they do audiobooks, they fall into well, this is Stephen King, this is a horror book, so it's got to be scary. So when they're doing the exposition like this, the man walked down. He was walking his dog as they came up to the grassy knoll where the dog would do his business. The dog squatted. Then there was shit that came out of the dog's ass, and it smelled horrible. And the more shit that came out, the more it smelled. They overdo the dramatics when it is people talking. He did a great job. Great job. You were there. You in your mind, you were there with the people. He did different voices, like the mom. He's like, "You're poison. You need to get out of here. You're poison." He did a very good job with different voices, different, but the exposition parts of the book, like I said, it just falls into the same trap that actors fall into when they absolutely, a narrator can totally ruin a book. Totally ruin a book. Let me bring this up. One of my favorite Stephen King books is The Stand. And Grover something is the guy's name. The Stand. Grover Gardner. Grover Gardner is wonderful as a narrator, especially for Stephen King, because even though it is a Stephen King book, he is telling you a story. And he doesn't make it overly dramatic. Like, the man walked down the street, and then the man looked to his left, and he looked to his right. Steven Weber. You remember that show, Wings? The two brothers who owned the airport on Nantucket Island. The hip brother with the long hair, Steven Weber. He narrates it, and it was a pretty good book, but he just ruins that book because that's how he does it. They just are overly dramatic with the scariness of the book. Frank Waddell is also another narrator that's fantastic. So I'm gonna give Kevin's performance on this. It'll probably 4 cupcakes. Let's just pop that up here. While the exposition was mediocre, what the fuck is that word? Why can't I think of it? When the people was talking, that's the part that was good. So that's The Running Man. Go get it, 100%. The ending was a shocker. A shocker. Just the way it just ended so abruptly. Just the Plane crashed into the building. Audible would like to thank you for enjoying this program. It was just so wild. So wild. All right, man. I did my job. Dialogue. God damn it, Deadful. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Deadful. Once again, Deadful is my hero. Deadful was my savior. Deadful was the guy that sat next to me at Hackamania as we watched, what was that, One Too Many, as I got madder and madder at every second of this movie, just to hear Deadful giggling next to me, calmed me down. Dialogue, yes, Deadful. Thank you so much. But yeah, go get The Running Man. It is a great book. It's only about 7 hours, so it's not that, it's not that intense. It's really short. Now, to go on about Richard Bachman. I'm over my time here. I like to only go an hour, but so we'll cut this off. Yes. I'll leave that up for a while. How's that? So, like I said, Stephen King said that Richard Bachman was not a nice guy. None of his stories have a happy ending. And he really liked Richard Bachman. He liked being Richard Bachman. So he wrote a book, Desperation. I don't know if you're familiar with that book. And he had 2 ideas for this book. And what he did was he had another book in mind called The Regulator. So what he did was he wrote, sure I get this right. I want to get my information correct. Yeah. So Desperation and The Regulators. In Desperation, I may do that one because it's actually a really good book too. There's there's characters, character names, and everything. In The Regulators, it's the same character names, but it's The Regulators is it's a TV show or a cartoon that happened in the book in Desperation. Desperation is the name of town. So and he wrote The Regulators as Richard Bachman. In my research, my Richard Bachman research and all that, I discovered that Richard Bachman wrote another book that I was absolutely unaware of. It's called Blaze, and that's about 8 hours, and I absolutely scooped it up. It's in my library right now. I don't know if that's going to be the next one I do. But yeah, Richard Bachman, he was an asshole, and I may go more into the Richard Bachman lore if I do another Richard Bachman book, because I did like The Long Walk, and there is going to be a movie about The Long Walk. The Long Walk is really good. It's another show. It's another game where there's one winner at the end. Roadwork, I don't remember. Rage, I do remember because it kind of hit home. It was a high schooler. He brings a gun to the class, shoots the teacher, and if you were an outcast in high school, like it was your book. It was your story. Like it was, man, I wish I could fuck those kids. Fuck them. Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Where in the States is American Cupcake. We are in Miami, Florida. This was the synopsis of the Richard Bachman / Stephen King book, The Running Man. And if we don't have any more questions, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, you can show me by Cash App is $ American Cupcake. Venmo is @American Cupcake, all one word. If that's not to your liking, all I ask is that you throw a like in there. It's a small move. It's something small for you, but it means a lot to me to for that like in there. Thank you for hanging out with me for this whole time. I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you so much, Tim Ford 22, one of my biggest fans. Dead Fool as well. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for, again, this dialogue that I couldn't fucking think of. And we will catch you on the flip side. So until next time, everybody, bye.
Reviews and stories all the